Hello, welcome to Instant Trailer Review. Currently, Jimmy is bereft and incapacitated as he is every Tuesday. It's the absence of Jacob.
Yeah.
So we're giving him some time to himself. But Andrew and I are here to review the Iron Man 3 trailer that came out this morning.
The new one. It's amazing.
It's very good.
Very
Marvel
cool.
had a countdown.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, were we looking for the seconds to tick by. But really good trailer.
Yeah.
Everything I've seen from this movie so far, I'm digging.
Yeah.
I'm liking it a lot.
It's still, I was almost expecting a lot more humor in this one because Kevin Feige actually said, like, it's a funny movie.
Don't worry,
There's
it's
comedy.
funny. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
He does a lot of obnoxious...
Shane Black.
A lot of improvisation that's funny and quirky.
Yeah, it still carries that
I'm just
kind
kidding,
of somber
Internet. I
tone.
love Robert Downey Jr., so it kind of...
It still carries that somber tone.
Which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
Iron Man and Tony Stark is a conflicted character.
Yeah.
He's a man of addiction. He's a man of sadness. They owe it to the character to at least portray that a little bit. There's a whole Iron Man storyline in the comics called Demon in the Bottle about him dealing with his alcoholism, which I mean,
I don't think
to
they're
address
bringing
that in the
up.
movie.
I think they probably bring up the depression that goes with that. I don't think they.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like the way they handled the alcohol
In Iron Man 2 was really not
because it was
well
like
handled.
a drunk douchebag college. frat
which
guy.
was really they like took that part of Tony Stark and like really took all the seriousness out of it, which I really think was borderline offensive. I'd even go for offensive.
I agree. When he fights Don Cheadle in the apartment, and they just have that drunk. It felt like two frat guys at a party.
Yeah, and I think it's just owed more than that. But I mean, it is a Marvel movie. It's a family movie. They obviously can't go too deep into addiction. It's just as a fan of the character. I think it's...
But as the Marvel Cinematic Universe expands, and we're getting into Phase 2 now, who knows what they'll do.
So, the helicopter shots we've seen, I love the trailer. The first 20 seconds or so I'm not crazy about. I think it's a little like... Yeah. Got a great girl, make neat stuff. Why can't I sleep? Like, it kind of...
And it foreshadows some stuff that comes later. Just in the context of the trailer, I think there are some awkward moments. Like, they have like stuff of the people falling out of the plane, and he's talking about this as if it's all going. You know, this is the heroic stuff I've been doing, blah blah blah. But now the Mandarin's coming, and he gets these people off the plane. It's
a little. The footage is a little all over the place.
But it might be because they're hiding so much stuff that they can only use so many set pieces.
It's very possible.
Yeah. So we might spoil some stuff a little bit because they showed 25 minutes of footage to the press. And I read all of the synopsis of that. So it might get into a little bit spoilery.
So if you're really trying to go into this fully fresh, we haven't seen anything. This is just kind of what we've read. It's all available online and stuff. But if you want to stay completely fresh, you just proceed with caution.
Yeah. So here's William Sadler, who we thought would be Saul Kennedy, friend of Iron Man and Tony Stark and everything in general. And I think it's pretty clear he's the president.
And there's another. We've been getting a lot of clear looks at Iron Patriot.
Yeah.
This is probably the most clear. Iron Patriot. It's still unclear as to like what he's playing in the story. In the comics, he's a villain. He's Norman Osborn. I don't think that's what he's going to be here.
Don't think so.
Actually, I know it won't be because Marvel doesn't have the rights to Norman Osborn. We've actually seen pictures of Don Cheadle in the Iron Patriot suit.
And there's a line apparently that happens in the movie where Tony Stark meets a kid for reasons maybe we'll get into, and the kid says like, "Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of War Machine," and then Tony Stark says he's not called that anymore. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's called Iron Patriot. I like that name more," and then Tony Stark says like, "No, it's not."
Yeah, so it's Rhodesy.
Yeah.
Here's Man's Chinese Theater here in Los Angeles, and it's exploding.
Yeah. And there's a little hot dog stand, which makes me think that Stan Lee might have a cameo as his classic
perpetual hot dog vendor, Stan Lee.
And this might be the first Marvel movie where Stan Lee really dies in his cameo.
We'll see.
Sad.
We'll see. So
all right, we have to pause here.
Okay.
Mandarin's tattoo. So the Mandarin's tattoo is a mixture of Captain America's shield, and in the middle of it, it's hard to see here, but in the middle is the anarchy symbol.
Whoa.
Crazy.
Not a fan of Captain America.
Which makes
probably
me wonder,
a fan of the band Anti-Flag, though.
It makes me wonder if they're gonna if that might just be a little nod, or if there's like a story behind that specific.
Perhaps there will be a cameo.
I do think they're. If
Ben Kingsley is like the new Loki, that'd be amazing.
That would be funny.
It'd be incredible.
But they're gonna have to address the Avengers.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, they already addressed the New York incident. Rebecca Hall.
It's unclear. It may, in fact, be Rebecca Hall. We see a more...
Seems to have her posture.
Yeah, we see a more clear image of her later in the trailer. So... Mandarin's voice, I'm digging it, dude.
Yeah.
I'm digging it in a big bad way. Ben Kingsley made some decisions, and he went in a direction.
Don't you think it's like a thing now that like if you're going to be a comic book villain, you have to have a voice that 10-year-olds across the country,
running around in their backyards?
Yeah, because everybody
when they're playing Iron Man.
Everybody does the Bane voice and the
iPads.
Joker voice now. You know, like it's fun to do.
Yeah.
You know, trying to do the Bane.
I don't know who that was.
I know, but the Bane voice.
No. Why are you hitting it? Yeah.
Or the Joker voice.
So yeah,
like
we've been doing it in the office. Yeah. We've been doing the voice in the office all day. So here's a little more of the Super Bowl spot we've seen a little bit of from, like, or the airplane sequence we've seen from the Super Bowl spot.
Is that it is Air Force One, right?
Let's see. Let's get a little closer. Yes.
Yeah,
yes, it is. It is Air Force One, United States of America. So this looks like they're really selling this set.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing about. I love the thing that we see in the TV spot, the Super Bowl TV spot. You can only carry 4. He has to have them all hold hands.
Yeah,
and
which is saying something about America, Andrew.
It's like
we're all helping each other.
Yeah, the Spider-Man one after 9/11.
Yeah,
you mess with one of us, you mess with all.
Might be a little more subtle than that,
Hopefully.
But some time has passed.
So here's a little bit of a spoiler, and don't turn us off if you don't want to hear this,
or just mute us until Andrew's done.
Happy Hogan is in the hospital, and he's coming out of the hospital because he's visiting
Happy Hogan. Jon Favreau's character.
Favreau. So they literally blow him out of the universe. Womp womp.
Probably
because Iron Man, exactly. So, what happened?
Happy was just out on a date.
Yeah. Well, it could have been the man. Yeah, at the Man Chinese Theater.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was just buying a hot dog.
We don't know if he was specifically targeted. We don't know if Mandarin was supposed to get Tony or what was going on.
Yeah.
But we do know that
that'd be a weird choice to target Happy Hogan, being that it's a character I forgot existed.
Exactly. Well, they're not selling him at all.
Guys, are you excited?
He's back.
Jimmy's back.
He's back.
He's not so upset.
Yeah.
Guys,
he comes out.
I just got done watching this trailer too.
Really?
Is your mouth all numb?
It is.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. You want to watch Jimmy drool on himself
hell of a trailer review with.
Anyway,
but so he comes out. Tony Stark comes out, and the press is all like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? The Mandarin is giving out these video threats. Blah blah blah.
What are you doing about this?"
And apparently, Tony Stark looks at the camera and says, "This is plain old-fashioned revenge." You see that in the thing.
Yeah.
And he gives out his home address. He's like, "Take it to me, man. Take it to me." And then we see, of course,
he takes it.
The Mandarin takes it
to
to him.
Well, I find it hard to believe though that like this criminal mastermind like didn't know where he lived.
Exactly.
Anyway, he gives his home address.
Yeah.
Maybe he's giving his home address to us.
Maybe
even though that house doesn't really exist.
Yeah, it's a.
So here it looks like the remnants of the Chinese theater attack, kind of. That's kind of a very thing. So here's Guy Pearce.
Dr. Killian.
This is like the first time Aldrich Killian, who plays a big part in the Extremis, where I think it's Extremis, storyline in the comics, which we'll get a little more into. We've seen kind of bits and pieces of him. This is the most prominent he's been in any of the trailers, which is awesome.
And they are doing a lot with his character too. He has his own poster now, and that was the Audi R8. I don't know anything about cars. I just read that.
That's it's
supposed to be a cool car. It's number 17. Stark. Yeah, and the license plate it says Stark 17.
Well,
which means he has 17 of that car.
Wow.
Not because he has 17 cars. That car.
1 through 16 were exploded.
Exactly.
So Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow. She's
it looks like she has a lot more to do. Okay, we have to pause there because this scene reveals something very, very cool.
Tell us what it is, Andrew.
So during the explosion with the helicopters, during the explosion with the helicopters,
which we've seen numerous times,
you might notice that all of his suits, original mock suits,
blow up.
And that's not the Mandarin doing that.
They get exploded.
That's Tony self-destructing because he doesn't want the Mandarin to ever get his technology.
He doesn't want to reverse engineer it.
But
reverse engineer.
But he does say, apparently, and this is based on the 25-minute footage that happens. It's about 25 minutes into the movie, so you can get a structure of when this all takes place. He does say, like, there's this stuff in the early mock, the classics, as he calls them, that he blows up in the top area.
Yeah.
And then there's the secret wine cellar, and you can see the wine cellar here. And he says to Jarvis, Tony says, blow up the classics. We don't want them getting their hands on it, but protect the wine cellar, the stash beneath the wine cellar. So the stash down here is the new Iron Man suits, the newer Iron Man suits maybe. You can see at the left here, one isn't fully completed.
Yeah.
But it might be the stuff that he gets, you know, the other Iron Man. And also on the very right here, we see the Space Iron Man suit. Spoilers galore right now, because there's a toy that came out that was like a white and black Iron Man suit, right? And it was an Iron Man 3, and it actually said like the Iron Man spacesuit or something like that. So we were like, what the hell? Did they just spoil something huge in the movie?
Turns out they did. Turns
out there is a Space Iron Man suit. I mean, after the events of the Avengers, maybe the boy wants to go into space.
Space isn't out of the question anymore. That's all we're saying. I hope he knows how to deal with the icing problem.
Oh.
Anyway, so here's the house attack we've seen numerous times before.
And in it, it's interesting. Gwyneth Paltrow, he uses the
not the most flattering shot of Gwyneth Paltrow ever, but
but it's still slow motion explosion.
Yeah, it's cool.
Always look cool. So he uses the extremis to throw the Iron Man suit on Gwyneth Paltrow to protect her. So apparently during this battle, she has to help get Rebecca Hall out of the building using the Iron Man suit. And
everyone and their mother wears an Iron Man suit in this movie.
Apparently it's very endearing because she doesn't know what the hell she's doing.
There's the Audi. Oh, so there's that Kevin Feige funny part that we're talking about. So yeah, we've seen all this before in previous trailers.
Him rolling around him rolling around with only half of the suit on.
It's cool.
Looks awesome.
It's cool. They moved it up a week.
Totally, and
that's
nobody
a week
knew.
That you don't have to wait for Iron Man 3.
Nobody knew until the trailer.
Big reveal.
I'm gonna offer.
So we've seen all this, him in the snow.
So what happens there?
Gwyneth Paltrow loves that mask so much.
What happens there? Maybe this is more crazy spoiler, but apparently maybe that happens immediately after that scene. He, in a last-ditch effort, just like shoots up, uses all of his energy to shoot as far into the atmosphere as he could because he's pinned down or something. He's trying to get out from underneath the ocean, and he goes really high up, and then he gets knocked out. Wakes up in Tennessee.
Tennessee? Is that the state we're landing on?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where the snow is?
Yeah.
It's cold. Cold in Tennessee.
Cold in Tennessee.
It's the name of a new country album.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's him cold in Tennessee again.
That was a cool
here's some cool like action bits.
That flip was cool.
Yes.
So that's somebody. Is that somebody with the extremis injection who's capable of fighting like that? Or?
It looks. I mean, it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
could be Guy Pearce. Could be Chris Evans, perhaps.
Oh.
That's a rumor starting right here. So there's Gwyneth Paltrow.
And Gwyneth Paltrow here. Apparently, this is the same.
Yeah.
Kind of.
This is giving a little. We've seen this shot, but it's giving a little more context because later we see a bunch of soldiers being strapped into these devices.
Yeah. So do you think it's? Well, do you think it's Killian and the Mandarin hooking them up to get the extremis?
It's possible. We don't know if she's being injected or maybe if she's about to be saved from being
maybe
injected.
A test subject or something.
Yeah, I mean, we might. She might be upset, bereft at something.
Yeah.
Like Jimmy. There's Rhodesy in the Iron Patriot suit.
Yeah, and also
give him that old Don Cheadle smile.
Who I love Don Cheadle. I think he was really underused in Iron Man 2.
But also completely miscast.
You think so?
I think so.
I like him a lot more than Terrence Howard.
I like his character a lot more. I don't buy Don Cheadle as an action hero.
It's hard.
It's like
he hasn't done a lot yet.
Like this. Maybe it's because of those Captain Planet things he's done. I don't know. Perhaps. So yeah, there's more of Guy Pearce. So here's the shot I was talking about of the soldiers being strapped into the same device that Gwyneth Pepper Potts is strapped into. What will happen? We don't know. Find out on April 25th. So here's what you were talking about.
For a reporter, like I always figured the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has a lot of new technology. It's a little further, and it's kind of like, you know, the first Bryan Singer's X-Men. It's a little bit in the future. This guy's using an old, like, Verizon, Motorola-looking thing.
Well, I mean, perhaps they are marketing partners. Did you ever think of that?
It looks like an old-school phone for, you know, Tony Stark. Yeah, it just seems to insult to Tony Stark. Like, I want to put this old-looking, not smartphone up to record your message. Anyway,
so here's what you were talking about, him talking to the the
Yes.
reporter is about giving us home.
I like this shot a lot because it looks like Tony Stark has to go all MacGyver. It looks like some kind of weird potato gun thing.
I'm sure it's a potato
I
gun.
don't know what it is.
You heard it here first, everybody. It's a
And
potato
also,
gun.
okay, great place to pause it because Gwyneth Paltrow.
Really interesting that Gwyneth, like, usually Pepper Potts has not been sexualized very much. And I'm not saying that she's being sexualized just by being in a bra, but that's
She's
like a
usually the
strange
anti. I mean, she's usually sexy. No, I know. Yeah, I don't mean that. But she's usually the anti that.
She's
but
a
she
businesswoman.
She usually makes fun of the people who are sexualized.
She does.
In these movies.
But, you know, who
And
knows?
She makes fun of Scarlett Johansson.
Who knows?
Because she's totally
She might have taken her shirt off to put a fire out.
She's putting my fire. Or no, she's putting my fire on. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was bad. But if we go back a little,
Okay,
we have to go back a little.
let's go back.
We're really digging into this one. I
My
like
goodness.
it. So one thing we know about the this might be his own injection. Maybe they're saving his life. Uzi. Tell me that's not the coolest looking thing.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
It's really cool.
Him
Looks like
using
he's
an Uzi.
looks like he's in a church.
Oh, you don't bring an Uzi into a church.
Yeah, no,
Right,
well,
this movie's not
there's the hot
PG-13
dog.
anymore.
And it's Christmas time. There's the hot dog stand
Yeah,
from the Man's
Christmas
Chinese
time.
Theater Explosion, featuring Stan Lee, we think.
First time we got a holiday.
Yeah,
in
perhaps she was at the movies. I don't know. So yeah, there's.
there. So is that Rebecca Hall that he was saving there?
It doesn't. I can't see her face very clearly. Let's break it down, Andrew.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a flight attendant.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine, and I'm sure a wonderful
Yeah.
actress. But yeah.
All right, so we got to go back to there to when the Mandarin's holding up his cape, because his cape actually says "redeemed through blood."
Whoa. Right here.
Yeah.
Right along there, and it looks. Yeah. It's very.
I hope they utilize him well though, because
Looks like a dollar bill.
It does. It kind of does look like "In Change We Trust" Her. I don't know, something. As much as I really liked.
He's jumping into a suit there. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That is cool.
Besides all the other coolest things I've ever seen.
I loved Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2, but I didn't think he had.
Did you?
I did. I thought he was a lot of fun, like the parrot thing, and I thought Sam Rockwell was great. I just didn't think they had anything to do.
Yeah.
Like you could skip from Iron Man 1 to Iron Man 3 with almost inconsequential.
Well, we don't know. We haven't seen Iron Man 3. They
I
might be like,
imagine.
you may remember from a month ago. Anyway, so here's like the money shot of the trailer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wow, this is
Just
pretty.
all them
nice.
Iron Man suits. Now we don't know if those are manned Iron Man suits or womaned Iron Man suits, or if they're like robotic Iron Man suits. But check this out. First off, toys galore.
Badass. I know this. That must be the first thing that Disney's thinking.
Disney
and
was just
Paramount,
like,
they must be like
cha-ching.
totally.
You know, you got water action Iron Man, you got space action Iron Man, desert action Iron
Exactly.
Man. It's crazy. But the real money shot of the trailer is right
Hulkbuster.
here. The Hulkbuster Iron Man suit. It looks a little funny.
Yeah, it looks like a Pixar character.
It does
I
look like a
it.
Pixar character.
I like it.
And it might become one now that Disney owns everything. Which is actually kind of cool.
I want to see the Hulkbuster.
I'd love
in
to see
Star
a Marvel
Wars.
Pixar movie.
That would be
Star
awesome.
Wars Pixar movie.
Weren't they
the whole
flirting with
thing
the
would be
idea of
amazing.
Ant-Man being a Marvel Pixar movie or something?
I don't know. I'd throw
I mean, it's
everything
live
at
action
it.
now, but-
Disney, you got it all. Just
I
do
also
it.
really like how they introduced the Hulk Smasher the same way they introduced the Hulk.
Yeah,
in trailers.
it's actually moving exactly the same way.
It's bursting
It looks
through
like they
stuff.
may have just put just changed the animation.
in the same way that Disney used the same like movements, like dance movements for like from Robin Hood to the Jungle Book.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see videos of like
Yeah,
how
man.
they're doing the exact same. They're just using the same.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
rad. I like it a lot.
Cool.
Couldn't be more excited.
Yeah.
Especially after Iron Man 2, which I was not all that excited about. But I like the first one, obviously. Who didn't?
Yeah.
So
I actually my favorite is the Avengers. Out of all of them, the Avengers was the one that really won me over.
it
With
culminated.
The MCU.
They did it right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know a lot of people say this, but I thought The Avengers was a better Captain America movie than the Captain America movie. It was a better
Yeah, and
Hulk movie than any of the Hulk movies.
Oh, for sure.
And for me, it was actually a better Iron Man movie than any of the Iron Man movies.
Yeah, I thought they pulled it off. They set it up. And
I
they knocked
really
it out
liked
of
the first
park.
one. but,
Yeah. So Iron Man 3. What else is there to say? April 25th. We don't have to wait much longer.
Yeah. Do you think that was a smart decision? Do you think
I
they're
do. Marvel always kicks off the summer, and they could just, if they keep moving it up and up.
And the summer is
They're gonna-
always the blockbuster summer is always getting more extensive and longer.
Yeah, I mean it's starting in March usually.
Yeah.
Now. So yeah, I couldn't be more
I wonder if
excited.
they're-
I love Shane Black. I think he's a really good filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I just think it's gonna be awesome. But
Yeah.
what do you think, audience? Excited about Iron Man 3? Again, I'm going to venture out. I think you might be.
Yeah. I think a part of the reason they did that with Paramount, Star Trek, very close.
Yes,
Yeah.
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're
Anyway,
doing.
comment below. We'll be commenting back.
We're
We wanna know
excited.
what you think. Until next time, I'm Ryan.
I'm Andrew.
Thank you for watching.